Hey guys, I am Pixel Dan. NECA's NES game series has been one of my absolute favorite things to come out in the past year. I just think the idea of taking some of these awesome action figures from NECA Toys and painting them to look like they did in the old NES 8-bit video games and even packaging them in boxes that represent the old Nintendo boxes is such a fun idea and makes for some really unique and very cool collectibles to add to the shelf. Just not something I ever knew that I wanted until they came out, and then I just knew I had to have them, and I personally cannot get enough of them. So that brings us to the latest release in NECA's line of NES 8-bit game inspired figures. And this is a big one. One that I never saw coming. Boom. Batman. Batman, based on the original Sunsoft video game on the NES. A classic game, a very fun game, and an action figure that, like I said, never knew was even a possibility. Here's why I didn't know that this was a figure that would be coming. See, all these other figures that NECA has done is stuff that they already have the license to make toys from. We get Friday the 13th and Nightmare on Elm Street, Predator, and RoboCop toys from NECA on a regular basis. So it was very easy for them to take those brands and kind of make these cool NES versions out of them. Batman, however, being a DC Comics character, well, the rights to the 6 and 7 inch scale figures have been tied up with both DC Collectibles and Mattel. NECA's never been able to make 6 or 7 inch scale DC action figures, so when everybody started saying that they would love to see Batman done in this style, I never thought it would be possible. I just kept telling people not to hold their breath, because I didn't think it would happen. I was wrong, and luckily I was, because here we get ourselves a new Batman action figure from NECA Toys, the first Batman done in this 7 inch scale, and it's modeled after this old video game. NECA actually told me that the reason they were able to do this is because DC loved what they were doing so much with the video game figures that they gave them the rights to make this action figure. So, with that being said, let's check this bad boy out. Just like we've seen with all of NECA's video game inspired figures so far, Batman here comes in a box that resembles the old NES game packaging. It features the Batman logo right there on the front, and instead of saying the video game, we get the action figure underneath, which is very clever. There's also a lot of really great nods on this box, such as the Nintendo seal of approval down in the lower right corner being changed to the NECA seal of quality. And you'll even notice that around the edges of the box, it's made to look like the box is old and kind of beat up. Even flipping it around to the back side, it looks just like the back of the old NES game, but instead of images from the video game itself, we get some different shots of the Batman action figure on the inside. Now these boxes are really nice because they have a great fold open flap right there on the front that reveals the figure inside of a window. On the left side of the flap, we get an image straight out of the video game of Batman holding Joker by the collar of his jacket. And then over there on the right side, we get a look at our action figure with the little Batman health meter up there at the top. And even the background behind the figure looks like one of the levels from the video game. The packaging itself is gorgeous, and I can totally see this being one of those things where a lot of people will prefer to display these figures inside of their boxes because they are so well done. And the good news here is it's very easy to pull this figure out and you can always put him back in later. So at this point, let's go ahead and pull Batman out of the box and take a closer look at the action figure. So, as I already talked about in the beginning, this is a very special figure because it's the first time we've seen NECA tackle Batman in this scale. It's something they've never really been able to do before because of licensing. And it's really cool seeing NECA do their take on the '89 Batman. However, with this one being based on the video game, just like we've seen with all of NECA's other video game figures, the paint deco on here is inspired by the crazy colors seen in the video game. So Batman is several shades of purple and pink and like this light blue, all kind of blended together to kind of mimic the way that the actual Batman sprite looked while running through all the levels. Honestly, the paint job is awesome. It's so well done. The colors just look so cool together, and the way the paintwork is done on there just looks absolutely gorgeous.
He even has this bright purple cloth cape hanging from the back of the figure there, which really kind of matches the whole outfit and all the colors that are used on the actual figure itself. And the sculpt work here is really well done, because NECA didn't just make a video game sprite into an action figure. This is straight up the '89 Batman that's just painted like the video game sprite. So you can see that his costume and everything about it is detailed to look exactly as he appeared in the movie. The cowl sitting over his head is perfect. The shape of it looks fantastic. The ears at the top are a bit of a rubbery plastic, which is probably a safety standard. So you can see they flex around a little bit, and they might come out of your package a little bent. The left ear on mine is kind of leaning in a little bit, but it's easy to kind of straighten it out there. And the cowl itself just looks really nice. It sits right over the shoulders there, so it's all one solid piece. So that means when you kind of turn the head left and right, it turns the shoulder part as well as the Bat logo on his chest. Speaking of that Bat logo, it is the one out of the movie. You'll notice it even has the little extra feet at the bottom of the bat, so that's a really nice touch there. Also, another thing I really love about this cowl, it's a completely separate piece. You can't actually pull it off of the figure. I mean, it's on there pretty tight, but what you can do is you can pull the mask up a little bit over the face, and you notice that the face is just painted kind of blue and purple there, but if you look real close at that face sculpt, that's actually a Keaton face sculpt. NECA went out of their way to do a full Keaton face sculpt underneath this Batman cowl just to make sure that this figure looked right. That is amazing. He's got a lot of other really great details going down the costume there, such as the utility belt, the style of the boots, and even the gloves and the little bracers there on his wrists. It's an awesome looking Batman figure, and that color is really cool as well. Let's go ahead and talk about the articulation on this guy. So the head is able to turn both left and right as well as move up and down, and as I mentioned briefly, the cowl and the cape and everything all move with the head. So rotate the bat signal on his chest around a little bit, which might look a little weird, but to be perfectly honest, that's more neck movement than the actual Batman had in the movie. So that's pretty cool. You got the shoulders on a ball joint there, so they can go outwards, forwards, and backwards. You've got swivels at the elbow, as well as an elbow bend. You've got swivels at the wrist, as well as little pivots at the wrist, so they move forwards and backwards. You're able to swivel the figure at the waist, as well as kind of rock him around. Got a nice ball joint at the waist there. The legs are also nice and ball jointed, so they can go outwards, move forwards and backwards, as well as swivel. You got standard joints at the knees that also swivel at the knees there. And you got really great joints at the ankles that not only move up and down, but they also pivot left and right. They're on a nice little rocker joint there. So, very posable figure here. You can actually get some really nice stances out of this guy. And to add even more to the different ways you can display him, he comes with a few accessories and also a few interchangeable hands. So, in order to swap those hands out, they're just on little ball joints. It's very easy just to pull the hand right off the ball joint and pop the new one on in its place, and they lock on nice and tight. That way you have different ways you can display them. You have two closed fists. You also have an open right hand, which also works as the hand that's going to hold on to this little grappling gun. And you have another hand for the left side that's going to hold on to his Batarang accessory. So you can mix and match all those parts, and you can put in those cool little accessories there, like the Batarang and the cool little grappling gun, which are also very nicely detailed and even feature that same kind of crazy purplish color scheme that the rest of the figure does. So there you go, my friends. There is a look at the brand new 8-bit inspired Batman figure from NECA Toys. I really love all of these video game inspired figures, and we've got ourselves a really cool collection of these guys now. From Jason to Freddy to RoboCop to Predator, and now Batman joining the line to make a really unique collection on your shelves, which is perfect for fans of video games as well as fans of all of these characters. It's a really cool thing that NECA's doing that I hope they continue to do, because it's something that I really love. With that being said, this Batman figure here is a little special. Like I keep saying, NECA has never really been able to do a Batman in this scale before because of the licensing being out to companies like DC Collectibles and Mattel. But DC granted NECA the license to do this because they love the video game stuff so much. But with all the detail that NECA put into this figure, giving him the Keaton face sculpt, the beautiful style on the actual costume itself, I really hope there's a way that NECA can give us this exact same figure, but with the proper black colors, because this could be the ultimate movie-style Batman figure that we have never received before. I don't know how possible that is, but my fingers are certainly crossed. So this brand new video game Batman figure should be hitting stores and online retailers very soon. So happy hunting, my friends, and until next time.